Hey friends, hey, it's your girl Kitty. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a ride or die part of KKC, welcome back. Today guys, I'm having Wendy's. I'm sure you can tell. I have the Baconator and a large fry. And I'm just going to move these out of the way for now. Set this stuff down. Oh no. Okay. There, that's good. I got some napkins. Okay. So we're going to move the burger over some. That's the Hellmann's packaged mayo. Chili cheese nachos. Now, so I hope you all had a wonderful day. It is Thursday. Not really sure what day it will be when you see this, but I hope that your Thursday was good. How am I going to do this? I can probably do it right there. So I just got finished a live. Shout out to all of you that attended my live earlier. Who was all there? Claudia C. Lati Loves Food. Sauce Anon. SW. Howard. Or some of you may know Howard as Hanging with Mr. J. There was a new girl, Leisha's Lifestyle, maybe? I'm gonna go find her channel and check her out. There's some ketchup. So if I missed anybody, I apologize. But this message was to all of you. I greatly appreciate. Oh, Gina. Gina was there. I like truly greatly appreciate when you guys take the time to come to my lives. Really, I do. Like I had said, I'm going to try to go live every day for at least 2 hours. Let's get a bite of this burger. That is the Baconator. I got the hiccups. I think it's because I'm eating too quickly and I'm like taking in extra oxygen, extra air bubbles because I'm talking too. So, my last video left off with my second miscarriage. I was absolutely devastated. Because I mean, like, it happened the first time. I was hurt, but not as hurt as I was the second time. Because, not that the first wasn't sad, it most certainly was. I just felt like it felt more real and more raw because I was still grieving the first miscarriage. And I started thinking the worst. So, we were grieving. My body was healing. From the DNC, and I can't even begin to put in words what that was like. Sitting in that hospital room, literally thinking I was bleeding to death. Like I said, you know, and there's a warning at the beginning of these videos because, and it says in the title, like, what I'm talking about, and it says in the description of the video, touching base on, like, what the subject is, and with me putting, you know, a warning, that should pretty much, you know, the warning plus the topic, like, it's the gist of what I'm talking about. Might be triggering for some people, and that's not my intentions. My intentions are that I'm sharing my story. So we're coping with the fact that we just had a second miscarriage, and it was a little more traumatic and devastating for the fact I was further along. Like, the first time, they didn't have to clean me out. My body did it for me. But the second time, I was farther along. It makes things a little more complicated. And they kept an eye on me to make sure, you know, after they, you know, clean you out, they want to make sure that there's, you know, no signs of any infections, or, you know what I mean? Like, they want to just make sure everything's okay. So they were doing, like, routine checkups. Excuse me. Excuse me. That's for you, Jaleel. So, like I said, I am guesstimating these dates because I didn't write down the dates for my second miscarriage. I'm not really sure. So somewhere between May and June is when I miscarried, and they did the D&C. So then July, August, and September was just basically, we put it out of sight, out of mind. The fact of trying. It was just not something we discussed. We knew that we wanted it. We knew that we wanted to be a family. But just emotionally, I checked out. Like, I was so hurt that this happened. And of course, I was thinking the worst. Like, I am never going to be a mom. And, you know, I just carried on with my life and just doing what I could to just emotionally and mentally move on and get by. But as far as us actively, like, talking about it or actively trying for another one, that was in the back of my mind. Then comes the end of October. Of 2006. Period, where are you? My period never came. I didn't want to get excited. I didn't want to get, like... So I kind of ignored it for a little bit. Because I was scared. Which is normal. So finally I was like, hey, I need to take a test. I need to, you know, it is what it is. So I took a home test. So I took a home test, and sure enough, clear as day, you're pregnant. I just burst into tears. Of course, scared, thinking the worst. Who wouldn't? I told Jamie. He said, you know, he was excited, but I think he was scared that it was going to happen again. So ooh, look at that cheesy, sloppy one. Well, that sucked. I went to see my family doctor. She set me up for blood work. And they monitored me like a hawk. I had ultrasounds frequently. I had, well, the external, just on your belly. I had some internal ultrasounds. I had several trips for blood work. They were just monitoring everything really close. And my doctor said, you know, if by chance this results in another miscarriage, we'll look into further testing to find out why. And I prayed and prayed, guys. I prayed with every single thing I had in me, begging God, please don't take this one. Please let this baby grow. And every month went on, and I started feeling flutters, and morning sickness, guys. Oh my God. I was sick the entire pregnancy. I had a beautiful pregnancy. Lots of movement. But the mornings, and it wasn't even morning sickness. It was anytime it felt like sickness. Like I was puking at night. I was puking in the morning, the afternoon. Like it didn't matter. I didn't have morning sickness. It was anytime it felt like it. So I had to take a trip to Moncton, which is like 2 cities away. I had to go meet with specialists. They wanted to run some tests. And these are tests that they, for whatever reason, couldn't do them here. I had to go to another city. So, I went to that city. They did their tests. They did an ultrasound. They asked, you know, do you want to know the sex of the baby? And me and Jamie kind of looked at each other, and I was torn between wanting to know and not wanting to know. Because I was still really scared, guys. I was really scared that this one wasn't going to make it either. And I was trying so hard not to have those thoughts. It was very difficult. I was trying so hard not to think negatively, but it was very hard not to. So finally we agreed that we wanted to know. Like a lot of women, when you're younger, you just picture yourself with a daughter. Like you just say, like, when you're a little girl and you're playing mommy, like you, to me it didn't matter as long as they were healthy, but I'll admit, part of me was like, I'd love to have a daughter, and Jamie kind of laughed, and he even told me this when the very first pregnancy, that he said, all I know how to make is boys. And so I'm laying on the table and they're doing the ultrasound, and she said, are you ready to know? And I was like, yeah, we're ready to know. Like Jamie was waiting for me to be like, yeah, go ahead. So, and she said, it's a boy. And I mean, even though like just growing up, I had the thoughts of like being a mom and having a daughter, and anytime I'd play with my dollies and pretend like I had, I was a mommy and I had a baby, it was always a little girl. But it was kind of like bittersweet. Like I was excited, but I was sad because I was like, now I know it's a boy. And what if something happens? My ear just plugged up on me. What if, something happens, and now, like, the other two I didn't know. The other two I didn't know. So, let's get another bite of this. So, we left there and came home. Yeah, we had to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That way I was like in Moncton in time for my appointment. So I was like exhausted emotionally, physically. Just, it was exhausting. And we come back home, and like my pregnancy was pretty smooth, other than like being nauseous all the time and like puking at random. I didn't have any like really stupid weird cravings like like some pregnant women. I just shake my head because I'm like, I don't understand. Like, why would you want to dip pickles in ice cream? That's disgusting. Like, I mean, the only thing that like my diet when I was pregnant consisted of, well, I mean, besides like home cooked meals and stuff, kind of like what you guys see me do, like chicken and rice and vegetables, or chicken and potatoes, or whatever. I ate a lot of Subway. The occasional McDonald's, because McDonald's is like right across the street from our apartment complex. So like, because we were renting my mom and dad's house. They were living in Ormuckto, and we were renting their house. But then when me and Jamie found out that we were expecting, we were just like, ooh, we need to find our own place. Like, because there was me and Jamie and my younger sister and her boyfriend. So I'm just like, yeah, we need to find our own place. Anyways, so So time goes on. No, like my pregnancy was pretty smooth. Very, very active. I miss that feeling. But yeah, so that is the story of my pregnancy. I don't really have much to say about my pregnancy. Like, I was monitored closely. I had a lot of doctor's appointments, a lot of seeing specialists, a lot of blood work, a lot of ultrasounds. So it was pretty crazy for the amount of doctor's appointments I had. But other than that, like, I still worked. I worked up until I was 7.5 months. I was a cleaner. I cleaned a government building. I worked by myself. The only thing I found difficult with the working, it was tiring, like the walking around, waddling around. But other than that, like, it wasn't too bad. They put me off work. I was getting a lot of, like, I would have kept working, but the lifting and, like, the bending and lifting and stuff, like, was difficult, and the emptying my mop bucket was hard because that sucker's heavy. Like, you take an industrial mop bucket and fill it with water, that's not light. So that was a little difficult. And every once in a while, like, Jamie would pop in at the end of my shift. And he would dump my water for me and take my garbage out. Or, like, my supervisor, if she stopped in, she would do it for me. But for the most part, like, I would have kept working, but I just started getting, like, a lot of swelling in my ankles and my feet and, like, up my calves. And honestly, ever since I had John, ever since I got the swelling in my feet and ankles and in my like, my halfway up my calf when I was pregnant, it still happens. I don't know if that, like, messed up my circulation. I don't know. But that is, like, the story of my pregnancy. There's not really much to tell you, like, with my actual pregnancy, like, other than I had a shit ton of doctor's appointments. And, but my labor and delivery will be one hell of a story. So, I've already talked a bunch, and this video is way longer than I want them to be. Keep in mind, my next video, well, maybe not the next video, but eventually when I do film my labor and delivery, that video might be the longest. There's a lot to tell, and it'll be very, very emotional. And I will put the warnings at the beginning of the videos. Because I think that's fair to give people a heads up warning, like, this might be sensitive to someone, because you just never know, like, what someone's going through. But yes, so there's not really much to tell you for my pregnancy other than, we made it to the end. We made it to the end. So there was a lot of ups and downs and trials, testing times, relationship-wise, for Jamie and I. There were some difficult times. Not so much now. I think we're in a really good spot, him and I. And we'll talk more about those things in another video. And not just pointing fingers at him. I'm no saint, so. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna finish my food. Thank you for having dinner with me. Thank you for listening to my story. And I don't like saying story because story sounds that it's made up. A story. This is not scripted or made up. Like, this is legit my life, and I'm sharing some very vulnerable stories, vulnerable situations I've been in, and we will discuss more in my next couple of videos. So brace yourselves. The next one might be a pretty lengthy video. I suppose I could try to break it up into 2 separate videos, like talking about my labor, and then the next video maybe my delivery. Or like labor and delivery and then aftermath, basically. So it's probably 2 other videos. Anyways, I love you guys. If you made it this far, don't forget to drop a blue and purple heart for my angel babies, other people's angel babies. If you yourself have an angel baby, whether it's miscarriage, stillbirth, or you lost a child, regardless of when they're taken from us, it is devastating. And I can't even begin to imagine someone who, to have a stillbirth or, you know, to have your baby pass away from SIDS is devastating. I'm not trying to compare my pain to anyone else's. Regardless, it fucking sucks. And I just want you all to know that you're not alone. There's so many women and so many couples that have gone through the unthinkable when it comes to the loss of a child, whether it's a miscarriage, stillbirth, crib death, or your child dies in a car accident when they were a teenager. Like, losing a child, period, is just, I don't even know how to put it into words. I will say, I'm thankful that the Lord intervened, or my body intervened to stop the pregnancy if my body detected something wasn't right, or, like, just things happen for a reason is basically what I'm saying. And I am glad that I didn't bring these babies into the world and then something happened. I'm just glad that I would rather it have gone the way that it did than to have to grieve a stillbirth, or, to have to name that baby and, to name them and bury them. But anyways, I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Don't forget, you are worthy, you are loved. Stay positive, stay blessed, and I will see you in my next video. Deuces.